Absolutely. It was funny. I attended their first annual convention when they restarted them in '98, and they had some. There were some Colorado doctors there who had basically did the middle finger to the entire establishment and had done a study with 40 patients who had not I don't know the technical term of they had severe loss of appetite due to chemotherapy and other drug therapies, and they specifically took a population of people who had a population of probably 40 patients who had been non-responsive to conventional treatment, and they had published, it was like, 96%. One guy didn't get the munchies. It was like a 96% success rate in weight loss, in noticeable lack of nausea, noticeable increase of appetite, weight gain, and all these things. And the guy was just sitting there. He says, "I published a study, and no one will do anything about it. Here we literally have a way to have chemotherapy patients, AIDS victims, all these people who have wasting away syndrome, and you've got this magic bullet, and you can't put it in the gun."
Well, I've said 2 or 3 times that if the staff and faculty at MD Anderson and Sloan Kettering took their professional oaths at all seriously, both of those institutions would have their own greenhouses, they would be growing their own marijuana, and they would be daring the federal government to come after them.
Oh, yes.
They're not in a position where they feel like they can do it.
Yeah, the guy, I believe it's GW Pharmaceuticals, that doctor.
Great Britain, yeah.
He's in Great Britain, and he was talking about it. It was at the first annual NOMA convention. Yeah. It was really funny because, he says, I wanted to do this, and I wanted to have set this up, and I wanted to test dozens, if not all 60 known cannabinoids for, time lapse and figure out what is this. And I told the government I wanted to grow tons of it. Tons of it. You had like 70, or you had about 700 loadies going, wow, tons of legal medical marijuana.
Well, the funny thing is, his Sativex has now been approved in Great Britain and Canada, and he has gotten FDA approval to do phase 3 clinical trials in the U.S. for the FDA for approval here. That's going to present a real dilemma to the DEA.
Yeah. And it's like we had the Million Marijuana March festivities in Austin. We spoke at the Capitol, and they had people in wheelchairs. And it was a very moving testimony.
Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hello, Buford. This is Dean Becker here. How you doing?
Good. How are you tonight, Dean?
I'm good. I understand you guys have been talking about the art car parade and the acceptance down there, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's being accepted everywhere, I think, these days. I spoke to a Lions Club a couple of nights ago, and they were, 100% in agreement. They were still scared and thought, well, we can't do that, and I'd ask why not, and they'd give me a reason, and I'd explain why that reason has no validity, and they'd say, you're right, but then they'd still say they were afraid. But we're making progress, I think. It's just going to be a gradual, progress to get people to accept the need and to embrace that idea.
Well, I've got John here. Didn't you and John put up a new MySpace or Facebook page this week or something?
Well, Art was working on that for me.
Art was working.
Oh, Art was working for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and right, I have a new MySpace page, and
MySpace. Yeah.
I'm not proficient yet. I'm working on it. We hope to get some pictures and other thoughts up there online. But we're also doing our pledge drive down at KPFT, and we're doing reasonably well. We're beating our goals. It's been embraced by the community for going on 8 years now, and we have, I think, over time encouraged and emboldened our listeners to do their part As you're aware, I have a few newspaper editors and even TV producers that tune in and kind of usurp some of my guests from time to time.
Well, good for them.
And I agree, and it's just becoming kind of accepted that this is going to change. The situation in California tells us as much. They're got their governor talking about it.
Yeah.
Just today I heard that Vicente Fox, former president of Mexico, was talking about it's time to, well, and most of these guys all say, I'm not for legalization, but it's time to talk about it.
Well, the Mexican Congress has just passed in both of its houses legislation that will legalize possession of small amounts of all drugs, and now goes to their president for signature.
And let's hope they do it. It won't take away the power of the cartels, but at least it will allow the police forces to focus on those people who deserve their attention.
Yeah.
But I wanted to let folks know we produce 9 shows per week for what we call the Drug Truth Network. We're based at KPFT Radio here in Houston, which is 90.1 FM. We do a Sunday show at 7 p.m., half hour, and then we do another one that's typically 11:30 to noon on Wednesdays. This past Sunday, our guest was Eric Sterling. He's president of the Criminal Justice Policy Foundation based in Washington, D.C., and we were talking about the mandatory minimums, how they got here, and perhaps how they're going to go away. Also carried a piece from Professor Jeffrey Myron. He was doing a quasi-debate with our former drug czar, John Walters, on CNN. And I also produced what I think is my best Drug Truth Network editorial. I call it an abolitionist moment. And it talks about what we need to do with this drug war monster. Then just today I had an interview with Maya Salovich. She's author of Help at Any Cost, how these so-called treatment providers fool the parents and hurt the kids when they have minor involvement with drugs. Also have a report from Terry Nelson of Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. Many folks have seen him on CNN, MSNBC, and a whole host of broadcast channels these days. Terry's been with us for many years now, 32 years experience as a Customs, Border, and Air Interdiction officer, and he stands strong for the Drug Truth Network, and I'm very proud of that. But if folks would like to tune into our hundreds of programs, I urge them to go to our website, which is drugtruth.net, and keep up the good work, Buford. It's great to see the progress, isn't it?
Okay, thank you, Dean. It really is.
One of the things that I've been thinking about for either a website or name is Project 2014, and I believe that is the year of the Volstead Act. Or is it
The Volstead Act was 2020.
2020?
Harrison Act was 14.
The Harrison Act. The Harrison Act, you're
We're
right.
about to run out of time here tonight. Yeah. It's turned out to be lively.
Yeah.
In closing, I have been skeptical about this proposal.
We want reform, or we just won't go to the polls.
We're out of time. Remember, it's your government, but it can only do what you want it to do if you tell it what that is. So keep the pressure up on your elected representatives all the way from City Hall to the White House. They all belong to you. You elected them. You can kick them out. And in between, you can damn sure tell them what to do. Thank you, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
That's a nice
The present policy of drug prohibition is hopeless. It is hopeless. It will never get better. Literally, victory today is being defined as slowing down the pace of defeat.
We ought to listen to science and medicine.